Hey everybody, so I'm a little late to the game on this MiniGT. If you guys want to be on top of the MiniGT releases, I have a subscription to a channel called Ron's Muscle Car Diecast, and he's like the king of MiniGT collectors. He's got several hundred, so I always watch his channel, and he showed this one off, maybe in a different color, I can't remember. And I was questioning the tires on this thing, how tall they are. They looked a little goofy, but then I looked at the photos and it actually doesn't look so goofy, so I went ahead and ordered this. Alright, so this is the 2020 FIA Endurance Champion, this C8R. Of 13 races, these cars won 7 races. This car is an aluminum monocoque and it's built by Pratt & Miller. They make many types of race cars throughout history. And this thing would be powered by a 5.5 liter V8, I assume, although I didn't actually look that up, but correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, 500 horsepower, probably horsepower regulation by the FIA. I don't know why this one is proving so difficult to come out here. Alright, so MiniGT in typical fashion. Very minimal yet effective packaging. So this brand and TLV would probably be my favorite brands regarding packaging. You know, you're not wasting money buying garbage, and it actually does protect the product, so that's good. Alright, so let's take a look at some of these images. I originally wanted the yellow one. My local dealer sold out immediately, so that's why I was kind of debating getting this after all, but let's see what happens at the end of this review. Alright, so there's that image there. Let's see about the general proportions. I've also held off on getting the road car because frankly I just don't find it to be attractive looking. Something about the design of this car, I don't know, it looks more like a Ferrari than a Corvette to me, which I guess isn't bad. I would assume most people would aspire towards a Ferrari versus over a Corvette. But for some reason the road car just doesn't do it for me. Maybe if it comes out in a nice color or something I'll pick it up, but so far MiniGT hasn't released that color that I'm looking for, which I don't even know what that is. Alright, so starting off with the side, we have like a battleship concrete gray or something, and it's very shiny. There's no metallic, it's just a flat gray, but clear coated. Alright, so terminology, it's not metallic paint. Let's leave it that way. And then as usual, you know, tampo printing from the GT looks fantastic. The wheels look fantastic as well. They're not only black, but you have gold and silver here for the knockoff. And then, you know, the tires, although they do look tall, you know, go back to that side photograph. They look pretty tall in the side photograph. This race car is running some fat tires, which actually makes sense because tires weigh less than wheels in most cases. Less rotating mass. That's why drag cars have such tall tires and such small wheels. But you know, with carbon fiber wheels, maybe that'll change. Although I don't think this is running carbon fiber wheels, but correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, so I also like this thing, this new technology on race cars. I think this is electroluminescent paper, if I had to guess. You know, maybe they actually illuminate the paper, and that's why it's so thin. Or it could literally be electroluminescent paint. There's actually paint you can charge electrically. But if anyone knows that, please leave a comment because that would be interesting to know. Good paint here. I mean, look at the tiny yellow line above this main yellow strip, and look how they do it on this compound surface of the door. And then the yellow is getting into the door crack as well. And then it also carries over back here, so that looks nice. This little black trim around this intake looks, you know, nicely painted as well. There's also black paint in this egress here. And then, yeah, rubbery mirrors from MiniGT as usual. They never have paint in here, but that's fine. They're at least smart enough to design it so you can take a paint marker or something, or a paintbrush, put it in there easily, and if you get any extra, you just wipe it off the edges. So really one of the best brands regarding mirrors, because, you know, you drop this thing, that mirror is not going to break because it's not rigid. Alright, so the front end. We have all sorts of craziness here. This actually is a clear lens covering this. I'm going to have to assume this actually has some lights in there for night running, but I don't know for sure. Okay, really fine texture here in the grill. It sounds, I don't know if that's plastic or the casting. It might be the casting, but it sounds like plastic, but it might just be because the ribs are so small. We have these winglets, canards here, and those look like a separate plastic piece, just because you can see it breaking from the gray paint back there. It looks like there's almost a gap there. Whatever, it looks good. The chin spoiler is sticking out quite a bit, and I think that's part of the metal base. There's even yellow here, interesting, and silver. Oh, there's a lot of different color changes going on here. IMSA is the racing organization. Not enough yellow got in there, but alright. Corvette logo looks good. The headlights, they are clear plastic with a little silver paint on them, and then I really can't see too much behind. What is that? Maybe that's something. I don't know if there's... That's just... I think the shininess of the plastic back there. I thought for a second it was painted silver back there, but no. It's all just black plastic, and then it's catching the light in a way. Alright, so anyways, it's not just a flat light bucket back there. There is something molded back in there. No texture in here, but probably shouldn't be. Maybe it's just a straight up vent being a race car. This Nagaduct, unfortunately there's no sort of black paint there, but because they didn't get all the yellow, it kind of helps out. And then again, this yellow arrowhead. Well, this side is a little splotchy here. This side's much tighter. Okay, holes extra printing there. The printing of the windshield rivets, or whatever they are, the fasteners. These safety bars, I guess. Alright. And then the molded in wiper blades are black. So that's good. This graphic is carrying across. So here are the 3 drivers here. Their names are quite legible, so very good. And then that yellow carries back here as well. So that's plastic I'm hitting there, and it's painted black. I don't see anything there. Oh, I see. Must be an engine cover or something. Alright, maybe we'll open this on up. This side, I don't see any major quality problems off the top of my initial view here. It does look like on this, interesting, there's just a recess there, but on this side I think there must be a fuel filler. And what is on there though? It looks like this silver or something. It's got some sort of sponsorship. Maybe it's the actual fuel name or something. I don't know. Interesting printing though, it's good. On the side window here, I see, I think that's a roll cage we're seeing on the back behind that piece of plastic glass. But it's got some black printed on it for the black out of the window. Alright, so the wing here, we have the satellite station printed on and some extra rivet details. The sides have a little red, and they're not very thick plastic. That side end cap there looks good. The struts are pretty thin as well, looks pretty good. Just some gunk. Alright. Yeah, the wing looks pretty good. You can actually see, you know, the wing back glass. The taillights look fantastic as well. They're translucent red. They have moldings to them, just like the real car, very angular. I think these are plastic inserts, the grills. And pretty nice texture there. I don't know what that graphic is. Number 4, GTLM. And then we have some copper color going on in the exhaust tips. Well, that's interesting. I didn't pull up the proper rear photograph, so I'm not sure why it's that color. Anyone? Oh, maybe they're trying to simulate, you know, some sort of backfiring. You know, some actual burnt gases spewing out of here. I'm just looking at that back photograph. I kind of think the exhaust tips are probably just black on the real car. So maybe this is just a way to make them pop a little better. Although in reality, they should just be black. But I kind of like it. They took liberties with it, and it works. I'm now noticing this rear diffuser sticks out quite a bit. Alright. And then the vanes here, they're okay. So it's interesting how, you know, this cutout here, the tire, so much of it is shown. I'm also noticing the tire might not be out as much as it can, but it can move, so no problem. It's naturally running racing slicks. Oh, well, this is nice. I find that the majority of the time, MiniGT doesn't tell you what the car is, which is really silly, I think. But now we know what this car is and what year it is and all that stuff. I wonder if that's something that Chevrolet themselves force on people, which is good. I think all brands should force that on people, to tell people what car they're looking at. Alright, so this thing is screwed together. You know what? I'm going to take this apart because I'm probably going to add brakes to these wheels and we can get a better look at this interior. Let's get a different angle here. We get Mr. Electric Screwdriver. It's a metal base. I think all MiniGTs have metal bases, if that matters to you, and they always roll as well. Yeah, it rolls super smooth, so you can play with this all day long, but man, it's too nice to play with, I think. Okay, so there's the inside bottom of the base. There's a pin locating the interior. These must be like 1mm axles. That might be why it rolls smoother. There's not much distortion in the axle. Okay, this interior is kind of tight. There's something catching it. I think it's the side panels of the interior. Okay, so here's the construction of the interior glass. It's like a slight rivet there holding it up there. Alright. Pretty neat. You can see the melt marks of the extra black plastic of the grills, holding those grills on there, the wing, and then the tail lights there. Or no, that's just for that insert of the grill. So there's actually quite a lot of plastic to add these details to the exterior. Okay, now there we are. Alright, so there is engine detail for sure. The roll cage is really thin, which I like. You know, it's not, the tubing isn't very thick, so very nice. It's obviously a race car interior with that racing seat and no side seat as well. Some sort of maybe fire extinguisher and computer system there on the floor. And then it's got a racing steering wheel. Let's look at that thing. It's Knight Rider, right? Yeah, you got the F1 kind of Knight Rider steering wheel there, so makes sense. And then a whole bunch of switches in the center console, so that's pretty neat too. And I like how that middle screen there is recessed, so you could put a marker in there and not get it all over the place. It'll keep the tip from straying. Alright, cool. Let me come back. I'm going to see if I can add some of my 3D printed brakes into these things. Although the real car probably has carbon brake rotors. I'm going to probably put some metallic ones in there so we can see them. I'll be back. Yeah, so I did my 3D printed brakes, but they spin with the wheels. But anyways, if you look at this image I'll show you in a second, it's quite amazing. Well, it's not amazing, but it's interesting. This thing is actually rolling metallic rotors. I would have guessed they'd be carbon fiber, being a modern race car, but no, it's still running steel or iron rotors. Maybe they switch them out for different tracks. Maybe on, well, I don't know the reason why. Strange. Please leave a comment if you know why. All I know is these are a lot heavier than carbon fibers, so, or carbon ceramic rotors, so I'd assume it would be bad for racing. Lighter is usually better. Alright, well, anywho, let's take a look at a couple other vehicles. The first would be a Kyosho model of a C8R from 2007. So I believe that was quite a successful race car as well. But unfortunately, the Kyosho, I think, is press fit. Yeah, the base is press fit. So the riding stance, if you look at this front tire, it seems a little gappy for a race car. Yeah. Well, anyways, it's still overall, I guess, a nice model, considering it was probably $6 or $7 when it was brand new. Alright. So I'm going to take this Kyosho off because that's old school. And then I have a couple cars that I believe this thing could have been racing against. And the first is this Ford GT LMGTE. And then the second, this is by MiniGT as well. Sorry, some black dust. And this next one is by Spark Model. And it's a 2019 Porsche RS 911 RSR. I think it's a 2019. So, not sure. Maybe not the exact liveries were racing against each other, but these chassis, I think, maybe racing against each other in endurance races. There's also, I think, looking at this image behind, we have one of those AMG Mercedes. We have a Ferrari, I think that's like a 488 or something. A BMW, I'm not sure what BMW that is. That's a Lexus of some sort. Maybe someday I'll collect more of those if they come out, and I can simulate a modern endurance racing event. Alright, I think you've had enough time to see this spin. Well, let me give you guys a top view here, should that interest you. You'll see that Ford GT is very, very long. The Porsche seems quite wide, although maybe it's an optical illusion. Alright, let's get this guy over here. Alright, so as usual, I'm pretty happy with MiniGT. I have absolutely nothing to complain about here. I even looked at the engine of this race car, and it's primarily black. There's a big carbon fiber, cover on the middle of the thing, so that's why I didn't bother even adding paint detail to the interior when I had it opened. So it's another great model here, no complaints, and I'm going to definitely continue getting more MiniGT, so hopefully you'll hang out for those videos to come. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Bye.